Can we get started, please, guys? Everybody? Hello? Hello? Could we please get started? Should we do a chapter Bible? One chapter Bible before we get started? One quick chapter Bible. All right, we're on to Genesis chapter 28. One chapter Bible before we get started. All right. We just read the story of Jacob stealing the blessings from his brother. It was awesome. So Isaac called for Jacob and blessed him. Then he commanded him, "Do not marry a Canaanite woman." Yep, just like what his father Abraham said about him. That's what he said. Go at once to Paddan Aram, to the house of your mother's father, Bethuel. Take a wife for yourself there from among the daughters of Laban, your mother's brother. May God Almighty bless you and make you fruitful and increase your numbers until you become a community of peoples. May he give you and your descendants the blessing given to Abraham, so that he may take possession of the land where you now reside as a foreigner, the land God gave to Abraham. Epic foreshadowing, epic foreshadowing. It was promised 3,000 years ago. Then Isaac sent Jacob on his way, and he went to Paddan Aram to Laban, son of Bethuel, the Aramean, the brother of Rebekah, who was the mother of Jacob and Esau. Now Esau learned that Isaac had blessed Jacob, and had sent him to Paddan Aram to take a wife from there, and that when he blessed him, he commanded him, "Do not marry a Canaanite woman," and that Jacob had obeyed his father and mother, and had gone to Paddan Aram. Esau now realized how displeasing the Canaanite women were to his father Isaac. That's diabolical, bro. That's diabolical, dude. That's crazy. Esau realized how displeasing the Canaanite women were. He was like, they all be hoes. So he went to Ishmael and married Mahalath, the sister of Nebaioth, the daughter of Ishmael, son of Abraham, in addition to the wives he already had. So, wow. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? He married Ishmael's daughter. Pretty crazy. All right. This is awesome. This next little segment. Jacob's dream at Bethel. Jacob left Beersheba and set out to Haran. When he reached a certain place, he stopped for the night because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones there, he put it under his head and lay down to sleep. Mistranslation. Mistranslation. They did it again. Dude, I don't know, man. I'm so surprised at how many of these there are. Mistranslation. In the original Hebrew over here, it says he put the stones under his head. It doesn't say he took one of the stones and put it under his head to lay down there. He said it put stones under his head. Like he gathered a little pile of stones. All right? There were a lot of little stones that he brought together that he used as a pillow. All right? Not one stone, many stones. So this is mistranslation from the Hebrew. Anywho, you'll see why I mentioned that. It's because you're using the NIV Bible. Dude, I'm just doing what I got, all right? Someone sent me this link, and this is the one I'm using. If you find me a different one, I'll use that one. He had a dream in which he saw a stairway. I love this. I love this verse. This is so cool. This is the stairway to heaven, as they call it. All right, get ready. He had a dream in which he saw a stairway resting on the earth, with its top reaching to heaven, and the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. There above it stood the Lord, and he said, "I am the Lord, the God of your father Abraham and the God of Isaac. I will give you and your descendants the land on which you are lying. Your descendants will be like dust of the earth, and you will spread out to all the west and the east, to the north and the south. All peoples on the earth will be blessed through you and your offspring." This is the blessing that is everlasting. "I am with you. I will watch over you wherever I go. I will bring you back to this land. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you." Wow, absolute cinema, dude. Absolute cinema. Amazing. So first of all, there's so much symbolism here with the ladder reaching heaven with the angels ascending and descending. So the obvious question here that I think like everyone thinks about is, why were the angels ascending and descending? Shouldn't they be like descending and ascending? Right? Like you would think that the angels started off in heaven, they come down and then they go back up, as opposed to starting off on earth and going up and then coming back down. And I've heard a bunch of like explanations for this, but I think the obvious one is right now Jacob is leaving the Holy Land. So the angels that were ascending were the Holy Land angels that went up, and the angels that were descending were the new angels that were going to be traveling with him on his journeys because you always have the angels of God around you, even though you don't see them, obviously. And each one has a different task. And some of the tasks of those angels were the Holy Land angels, and some of those were the not Holy Land angels. So hence the ascending and descending, meaning the angels were there around him before. He just didn't notice them. Anyway, cool stuff. Anyway, when Jacob awoke from his sleep, he thought, surely the Lord is in this place. I was not even aware of it. He was afraid and said, how awesome is this place? This is none other than the house of God. This is the gate of heaven. Absolute cinema. Early the next morning, Jacob took the stone he had placed under his head and set it up as a pillar and poured oil on top of it. All right, now I'm going to tell you why I did some epic foreshadowing. All right, now I'm going to hit you with some epic foreshadowing. In the previous verse, it said stones. All right, that's why I was being annoying about the mistranslation. It literally says in the Hebrew version, he put stones under his head. But when he wakes up, it's stone that was under his head. And the reason is because a miracle occurred and all of the stones formed one stone that he used as a pillar. That's why I specifically talked about it, because it specifically says in the first verse that it's many stones, and in this verse it calls it one stone that he used as a pillar to, put in this area. So anywho, he called the place Bethel, which, by the way, Bethel literally means the house of God in Hebrew. Though the city used to be called Luz. Then Jacob made a vow, saying, if God will be with me and will watch over me on this journey I am taking, and will give me the food to eat and the clothes to wear, so that I can return safely to my father's household, then the Lord will be my God, and this stone that I have set as a pillar will be God's house, and of all that you give me I will give you a tenth. And this is the earliest version of tithes, ladies and gentlemen. This is the earliest version of tithing. A tenth of your profit going to the poor or to your local, synagogue or church or whatever. And that is tithing. And it started from here. So anyway, that's where we got. Thank you so much for being here. That was chapter 28. Pretty good stuff. Cool vision, ladder, ascending, descending. Love to see it. Awesome. Good stuff. You can bring up the Hebrew and the English side by side on the site. Can I actually do that? I didn't even know that. Wait, dude! Languages! Bro! That's so sick, bro. I'm afraid I'm going to click something and then I'm not going to figure out my way back. Bro, they have an Hebrew? Oh my god, there's a lot of them. Bro, okay, dude, that's why I just read the Hebrew one, all right? That's why I just read the original, all right? Sorry, that's why I just do the original version, all right? I read it in the language that God gave it to us, all right? Anyway, we got to talk about Greenland, because it's ours now. I don't know if you heard the news, but now it's ours. Did you not hear the news? We have Greenland now. It's great. It's inevitable. I don't know Hebrew. I'm stuck with the King James version. Yeah, I'm sure it's good. When did you start reading Hebrew? I don't know. When I was a kid. Like literally, when I was like 2 or whatever, and my parents were teaching me the alphabet, like they taught me the English alphabet and the Hebrew alphabet at the same times. That is a grand total of 46 symbols that I had to memorize. And it was pretty fun. For real, we got Greenland. It's happening. It's inevitable. We're speaking it into existence. We just have Greenland? Yeah, we just have Greenland now. That's how it works. Yeah, let me see if you want me to see? Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up like in the actual Hebrew to show you that I wasn't just literally bullshitting you. Genesis chapter 28. Original. I don't even know if I should like be calling it original. Like, what does original even mean? Chapter 28, Hebrew version. Hebrew transliteration? That sounds pretty cool. There it is. We did it, guys. We did it. I found a site. All right, let me show you. All right, so it says, and he lighted upon this place, tarried out there all night, sun was set, and he took one of the stones of the place and put it under his head. That's the English version. The Hebrew version is, all right, and he took from the stones of the place, and he put them under his head. Right? This means, and he put them, right? Literally, and he put them under his head. So the Hebrew is literally plural, and in the English translation, I don't know why they do this, but they translate it to singular. He put it under his head. That's wrong. That's just literally a mistranslation. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I guess you got to take my word on it or something. Moving on. We good? I wonder if what'll Grok say about this? That's the real question. Bro, Iran lost control of a city, by the way. Fun fact. All right, we're going to do it this way. This is going to be fun. All right, when Jacob had his dream about the ladder and angels, did he put one stone under his head or many stones? All right, get ready. Get ready. According to the Bible, Genesis, Jacob took one stone from the place and used it as his pillow. Unbelievable. They all translate it wrong. Genesis, he wakens, he takes the stone. King James Version, he uses the plural. Took the stones and put them for his pillow. Look at that, baby. Look at that. So the King James Version has the correct translation. Isn't that cool? Based on the biblical account, he put one stone on his head. Wow, that's crazy. So it takes the English mistranslation. But the King James Version literally has the correct translation. That he took the stones, put them for his pillow. Correct. That is the actual correct translation. What is the direct Hebrew translation in 28:11? Direct word for word, and he took from the stones, put them at his head. See, literally, the direct translation from the Hebrew is plural. Anyway,